Good morning, Growing up in a small town in India, I never imagined the world I would step into. I was just a girl with dreams bigger than her circumstances. But let me tell you something real. You don't need perfect circumstances to become the best version of yourself. You need courage. You need belief. You need fire. Every single one of us is born with something unique. A voice, a purpose, a dream. But the truth is, life doesn't just hand you your dreams on a silver platter. It throws challenges. It throws judgment. It throws rejection. People will doubt you. People will label you. And sometimes, you might even doubt yourself. But that's when you have to stand up, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am not done yet. I am just getting started. I grew up in a small town in India, a place where the roads were dusty, dreams were often whispered, and expectations for a girl were limited. People told me to stay grounded, to be realistic, to think smaller. But even then, something deep inside me burned brighter than the world around me. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to become, but I knew I wanted more. Not more in terms of fame or money, but more opportunities, more purpose, more space to breathe and be myself. I didn't fit into the box that was given to me, so I started designing my own. And let me tell you, that was the first time I realized something powerful. You don't need perfect conditions to dream big. You just need to dare. I wasn't born into stardom or handed success on a silver platter. In fact, when I decided to compete in the Miss India pageant at just 17, I was awkward, full of self-doubt, and completely unsure of how the world would see me. I had acne, braces, a weird walk, and a voice that trembled. But I showed up, not because I thought I was the best, but because I believed I had the right to try. And that belief changed everything. The courage to simply show up, to step out in front of the world and say, I'm here, flaws and all, was the most powerful decision I ever made. Because courage doesn't come when everything is perfect. It comes when you move forward despite the imperfections. I want you to understand something. We're all waiting for the stars to align. For the right moment, the right look, the right words. But here's the truth, that perfect moment you're waiting for, it may never come. Life isn't a movie set where everything is choreographed for your success. It's messy, unpredictable, and at times unfair. But what separates the dreamers from the doers is that the doers don't wait. They act. They leap. They stumble and rise again. So if you're sitting on a dream, a passion, a purpose, stop waiting for life to be perfect. Start where you are, with whatever you've got. It's so easy to let the world's expectations drown out your own inner voice. People will always have something to say. Too ambitious, too loud, too emotional, too different. And if you listen to all those voices, you'll start to believe them. But I learned early on that your story belongs to you. Not your parents, not your friends, not society. You have to be bold enough to write it with your own words, your own pen. That's where becoming the best version of yourself truly begins. In saying no to who the world wants you to be. And yes, to who you really are inside. Becoming your best self doesn't mean you'll never fail. Oh, you will. And that's the best part. Every failure is a redirection, a lesson, a reminder that growth lives in discomfort. I have failed in auditions, in decisions, in relationships. But I never let failure define me. Instead, I let it refine me. I let it sharpen me, stretch me, and shape me into something stronger than before. When you stop fearing failure and start learning from it, you become unstoppable. And that's when you begin to rise. So if you're waiting for the perfect time to become the best version of yourself, stop. There is no better time than now, no better person than who you already are. Your courage, not your conditions, is what will carry you forward. Let your heart lead, let your voice be heard, and never forget greatness doesn't require perfection. It only requires action. We all come into this world with something incredibly special, a gift that no one else has. It might not always be loud or obvious, but it's there, waiting to be discovered, nurtured, and shared. Some people are born knowing they can sing, dance, write, or lead. Others discover their magic along the way, in the quietest of moments or in the most unexpected places. But no matter what that gift is, it belongs to you, and only you can express it in the way you were meant to. Your voice, your story, your dream. It's not just a coincidence. It's your power. And when you begin to recognize it, you begin to awaken something inside you that's unstoppable. But life doesn't make it easy. In fact, the moment you start dreaming big or believing in yourself, it often feels like the universe tests you. Suddenly, people doubt you. Opportunities pass you by. Doors get slammed in your face. You hear no more times than you hear highs. You start to question whether you're good enough, strong enough, or even worthy of trying. That's when the real battle begins, not with the world, but with yourself. You start to silence your own voice because others don't hear it. You dim your own light because it makes someone else uncomfortable. But the truth is, your journey is not meant to be easy. It's meant to make you stronger. Rejection hurts. Doubt lingers. Challenges can break your spirit if you let them. But the most powerful thing you can do in those moments is to keep going. Keep showing up for yourself, because the world will try to define who you are. But it's your responsibility to rewrite that definition. You are more than your setbacks. You are more than one failed relationship, one missed opportunity, or one wrong turn. You are still becoming. You are still learning. And that means you still have so much power to change the story. The version of you that survives the storm is always stronger than the one who walked into it. The truth is, no one has it all figured out. Not the people on your timeline, not the celebrities on your screen, not even the ones you look up to. We are all battling something. Doubts, fears, old wounds. But the ones who rise are the ones who don't give up. They don't pretend to be fearless. They just don't let fear win. And every time they fall, they get back up and say, "I'm not done yet." That sentence right there, it's your lifeline. It's your battle cry. When the world gets heavy, when your confidence shakes, when you feel like quitting, stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes, and say it with all the fire inside you. I'm not done yet. You are a work in progress, and that's a beautiful thing. Growth is messy. Healing is hard. Becoming the best version of yourself means being honest about your flaws, forgiving yourself for your mistakes, and choosing every day to try again. You don't need to have all the answers to take the next step. You just need the willingness to keep moving forward, even if it's slowly. That is strength. That is resilience. That is what separates the dreamers from the doors. Don't measure your worth by what you've achieved. Measure it by the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still showing up, and still trying. That is power. Strength. So next time you feel like you've lost your way or that your dreams are too far out of reach, remind yourself of this. You have already survived every bad day you thought would break you. You are still standing. And if you can survive that, you can create anything. You can rebuild, reimagine, and reinvent who you are. Not for the world, not for approval, but for yourself. Because the best version of you isn't a destination. It's a commitment. A commitment to rise again. A commitment to whisper, even in your weakest voice, I'm not done yet. And that whisper, when fueled by purpose and persistence, becomes a roar the world can't ignore. At 17, when most girls are still trying to figure out who they are, I was standing on a stage competing for the title of Miss India. It sounds glamorous, right? But behind the lights, the cameras, and the dazzling gowns was a teenage girl who was deeply unsure of herself. I had an acne that I tried to hide with makeup, a smile I wasn't fully confident in, and a voice that trembled every time I spoke in front of a crowd. I wasn't what you'd call perfect. In fact, by pageant standards, I was far from it. But what people didn't see was the war happening inside me. The fear of not being enough, of not being beautiful enough, tall enough, confident enough. And yet, even with all that, I showed up. I didn't walk into that pageant thinking I was going to win. I didn't even think I belonged there. But something in me whispered, try. That whisper, soft, shaky, but stubborn, pushed me forward. I stood next to girls who looked like they were born to be there, flawless and poised. And yet, I reminded myself that I had just as much right to take up space as they did. Every time I stepped out in front of the judges, I had to silence the voice in my head that screamed, "You're not good enough." And that's when I realized something powerful. Being brave doesn't mean being fearless. It means being scared and still showing up. We often wait until we're perfect to put ourselves out there. We tell ourselves we'll try when we lose the weight, when our skin clears up, when we speak more fluently, when we're finally enough. But perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it only delays your growth. What makes you powerful isn't that you have no flaws, it's that you have them and still choose to stand tall. That's real strength. That's authenticity. In that pageant, I stopped trying to hide my imperfections. I embraced them. And the moment I did, people began to see me. Not just a contestant, but a real person with courage in her eyes. I learned that authenticity isn't just about being real. It's about being vulnerable. It's about letting people see the parts of you that aren't polished or rehearsed. When I stopped trying to fit into someone else's mold of what I should be and started owning who I was, messy, raw, and imperfect, I found my true voice. And that voice didn't just help me win a title, it helped me win confidence. It taught me that the most magnetic people aren't the ones who pretend to have it all together. They're the ones who show up with their scars and say, "This is me, and I'm still standing." Your flaws are not your weakness. They are your power. Every scar, every insecurity, every struggle you've survived has shaped you into someone stronger, someone more human. When you try to hide those parts of yourself, you shrink your light. But when you wear them with pride, you become unshakable. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with truth. And when you own your truth, when you walk into the world, not despite your flaws, but with them, you become unstoppable. That's what I discovered at 17, wearing a crown I never expected. That the real crown was confidence built from authenticity. So whatever stage you're standing on in your life, whether it's your school, your job, your family, or your dream, don't wait to be flawless before you show up. Show up now, exactly as you are. Because your courage to be seen, to be real, to be imperfect, is what inspires others to do the same. The most beautiful version of you isn't the edited one. It's the raw, brave, genuine one who steps forward with shaky hands and open heart. And when you do that, not only do you grow, you give others the permission to grow with you. That's the kind of power that can change lives. We live in a world that constantly tells us who to be. From the time we're children, we're taught to please, to conform, to seek approval from others before trusting ourselves. We get so used to waiting for a pat on the back, a compliment, a sign that says, "Yes, you're on the right path." And when we don't get it, we start questioning everything. We doubt our worth, our talent, even our dreams. But here's the truth. If you're always waiting for someone else to tell you that you're good enough, you'll be stuck forever. The people who make history, who create impact, who live fully, they don't wait for applause. They clap for themselves first. And that's exactly what you need to learn to do. There's a dangerous illusion many of us fall into. The idea that success only counts when someone else recognizes it. So we perform, we pretend. We mold ourselves into what we think will be accepted or admired. But in doing so, we lose the essence of who we are. We become characters in someone else's story. And the saddest part is that we do this so often, we forget what our own voice even sounds like. That silence is not peace, it's imprisonment. You were not born to be a mirror of the world's expectations. You were born to be a loud, unapologetic, original version of yourself. And that version doesn't require validation to exist. Real power begins the moment you stop shrinking yourself to fit in. When you begin to own your story, all of it, the broken pieces, the bold choices, the quiet victories, and the loud failures, you unlock a different kind of confidence. One that isn't rooted in praise, but in truth. That's what sets people apart. Not how many people cheer for them, but how loudly they believe in themselves when no one's watching. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You just need to be at peace with yourself. That inner peace is the real applause, and it echoes louder than anything the world can offer. It's okay to walk a path no one else understands. Some of the most powerful journeys are the ones that feel lonely at first. But what you must remember is that just because your journey is different doesn't mean it's wrong. Speak your truth. Even if your voice shakes, express your ideas. Even if they're not popular. Live your life. Even if it looks nothing like the one others expect from you. You were not designed to blend in. You were made to stand out. And the moment you start embracing that is the moment you'll begin to feel the weight of the world lift off your shoulders. So many of us live like we're auditioning for someone else's approval. We filter our words, filter our thoughts, filter our dreams, just to make others comfortable. But imagine how much more powerful you'd be if you stopped trying to perform and simply chose to be. Authenticity isn't about being loud or flashy. It's about being real. And realness is rare. When you walk in your truth, you light up in a way that no spotlight ever could. You become magnetic. Not because you're perfect, but because you're honest. And honesty, in a world full of noise and masks, is pure gold. So forget the illusion that you need the world to cheer before you move. Move anyway. Speak anyway. Create anyway. Let your identity be your power, not your weakness. Let your uniqueness be your weapon, not your excuse. Walk with your head high and your heart open. Not because you're waiting for permission, but because you finally realized you never needed it. Failure is not something we like to talk about. We hide it, bury it, sugarcoat it, or pretend it never happened. But the truth is, I failed more times than I can count. There were roles I desperately wanted and didn't get. Films that didn't do well. Moments when I stood in front of people with every intention to shine, and instead I fell flat. I've had to walk into rooms where I was told I wasn't right. For the part where my accent, my skin, my culture were questioned. I've been judged before I even opened my mouth. And there were times, I'll admit, I felt broken, questioning not just my career, but my worth. But looking back, I can say those failures were not my downfall. They were my fuel. Every setback taught me something the victories never could. When I stumbled, I learned where I needed to be stronger. When doors closed, I learned how to build my own. When I was overlooked, I learned how to make myself impossible to ignore. Failure has a way of stripping you down to your core, exposing the raw parts of you. The fear, the doubt, the vulnerability, but also the grit, the hunger, the fight. That's where resilience is born. Not when things are easy, but when everything seems to be working against you and you still choose to stand up, dust yourself off, and try again. That's where fierce is forged. People often look at successful individuals and assume their path was straight, smooth, and blessed. But behind every moment of success are countless unseen hours of struggle, rejection, and heartbreak. The difference isn't that some people fail and others don't. The difference is that some people get back up again and again and again. I've had moments where I thought I had made it, only to find myself starting over in a completely new space. Whether it was going from Bollywood to Hollywood or trying to redefine myself in a new culture, I had to accept that growth often means becoming a beginner all over again. And that's humbling. That's powerful. The best version of yourself is not someone who has never failed. It's someone who has failed and still found a reason to rise. Someone who has been broken but chose to rebuild with strength, wisdom, and a deeper sense of self. You become unstoppable not because you've never been knocked down, but because you've become so good at standing back up. Resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And through each chapter of falling and rising, you don't just improve. You evolve. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing your journey. You see, perfection is a myth, a shiny lie we're sold to make us feel small and incomplete. But progress, that's real. That's human. And it's enough. Every mistake you make, every lesson you learn, adds to the masterpiece that is your becoming. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need a flawless track record. What you need is heart, hunger, and the ability to say, this moment will not define me, but how I respond to it will. That's where the shift happens. When you stop fearing failure and start using it. So if you're going through something hard right now, a rejection, a heartbreak, a dream that feels like it's slipping away, I want you to know that it's not the end of your story. It's just a plot twist. You are still in the process of becoming, and every powerful, impactful, unforgettable person you admire has had to fight through their own storms. You are not alone in your pain. But you can be extraordinary in your comeback. Let your failures be your teachers. Let your resilience be your voice. And let your story be one of courage, transformation, and unstoppable growth. There comes a point when you have to stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for you. The world will always try to put you in a box, tell you who to be, how to act, what's acceptable and what's not. But at some point, you have to decide that your truth is bigger than their limitations. You have to stop editing yourself just to make others comfortable. This is your life, your path, your story, and it deserves to be lived out loud. Be brave enough to take up space. Be bold enough to stand tall in your truth. Be real enough to say, this is who I am, and I'm not apologizing for it. You don't need to water yourself down for the sake of acceptance. You don't need to wait until you're more polished, more perfect, more experienced to speak your truth. What the world needs now more than ever is authenticity. It needs people who are willing to show up raw and honest. Not wrapped in perfection, but glowing in self-awareness. Your voice matters, your perspective matters, your story matters. And you don't need to be the loudest in the room to be heard. You just need to be yourself, fully, unapologetically, beautifully you. There will always be people who don't understand you. People who say you're too intense, too emotional, Too ambitious? Too much. Let them say it. You're not too much. You're just more than what they're used to. And if you've ever felt like you're behind, like you've missed your moment, or it's too late for you, hear this now. You are right on time. Your path isn't meant to look like anyone else's. Your timing is your own. Don't let comparison rush you. Don't let fear slow you. Everything you've been through has prepared you for this very moment. Now is the time to step into the power you've always had inside you. The world isn't waiting for another copy, another echo, another voice that's afraid to speak. The world is waiting for you. Your originality, your fire, your perspective. Don't underestimate how much of a difference one person can make. Don't underestimate how much of a shift your truth can spark. You don't need to start big. You just need to start real. Take the risk, speak the idea, launch the dream, love louder, live freer. Show up for yourself the way you show up for everyone else. Being brave doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you won't let it stop you. Being bold doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you trust yourself enough to begin. And being real doesn't mean you're flawless. It means you're honest. These are the qualities that set people apart. These are the qualities that create legacies. So if you've been waiting for a sign, for permission, for the right time, this is it. This is your sign. Not tomorrow. Not when everything is perfect. But now. Right now. Exactly as you are. You don't have to wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. You don't have to wait to be invited. Invite yourself. You have everything you need inside of you to start creating the life you were meant to live. You have ideas, passion, resilience, and a voice that deserves to be heard. Stop hiding. Stop hesitating. Start moving. Because the truth is, the most powerful version of you is not a future version. It's the one that shows up today, ready to be seen, ready to be heard, and ready to lead. This is your moment. Don't waste it trying to be anyone else. Be brave, be bold, be real, and most importantly, be you. You've come this far not by accident, but by strength. The kind of strength that doesn't always get recognized, but is powerful beyond words. The kind of strength it takes to keep showing up when the world tells you to shrink. To keep loving when you've been hurt. To keep dreaming when life has tried to break your spirit. That strength is what makes your journey yours. And no one can walk it but you. You have the pen in your hand, and no matter how messy the story has been, you still have chapters left to write. The beautiful truth is that you get to choose where this story goes next. You are not stuck. You are becoming. Owning your journey doesn't mean everything has to be figured out. It means embracing where you are right now with pride. It means honoring every version of yourself. The one who was scared, the one who made mistakes, the one who didn't give up. Each moment of struggle was not wasted. Each lesson you learned, no matter how painful, shaped you into someone wiser, someone stronger. You don't need a perfect path to build a meaningful life. You just need to walk with honesty, with purpose, and with the courage to be real. The best journeys aren't made in straight lines. They twist, they fall, they rise again. And in those twists is where your magic lives. Stop waiting for someone to come save you or to hand you the perfect life. You are not a supporting role in someone else's story. You are the lead in your own. And your power doesn't lie in what you've been through, but in how you rise from it. Don't let the world's noise drown out your inner voice. That voice, the one that whispers, keep going, when no one else believes in you, that's your fire. That's your truth. And when you start living from that place, everything changes. You become the kind of person who doesn't chase approval. You radiate self-respect. You stop comparing and start creating. That's the real victory. The best version of you is not hidden in the future. It's not waiting for the next job, the next relationship, the next round of applause. It's inside you now, asking to be seen. That version of you is fierce, bold, and beautifully imperfect. It doesn't care what the world expects. It cares about what feels right in your soul. And you'll meet that version when you stop doubting your worth and start honoring your truth. Every decision you make from a place of self-respect brings you closer to her. Every time you choose growth over fear, honesty over image, purpose over pressure, you step deeper into your becoming. No one else can tell you what your journey should look like. It's not supposed to be a copy of anyone else's. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. Your path will have both storms and sunshine, but both are essential. The storms build your strength, and the sunshine reminds you why you kept going. Trust that every part of your journey is guiding you somewhere meaningful. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right on time for your own evolution. Don't rush the process. Don't compare your growth. Just keep walking with heart. So wherever you are right now, whether you're rising, rebuilding, or just beginning, know this: the best version of you is not something far away. She's already inside you, waiting for you to believe, to act, to step into her with pride. Don't wait for the world to catch up. Lead. Don't wait for permission. Move. And when it gets hard, as it surely will, remind yourself, you've survived every difficult day so far. That's not luck. That's power. So own your journey. Embrace your truth. And walk forward knowing that the best is not behind you. It's in the bold, beautiful, unstoppable version of you that you're becoming. In the end, becoming the best version of yourself isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up, even when you feel uncertain. It's about speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. It's about owning your story, your flaws, your power, and choosing growth over fear every single time. The journey will test you, stretch you, and sometimes break you, but it will also build you into someone stronger, wiser, and more unshakably you. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Everything you need is already within you. The best version of yourself isn't someone far away. It's the version who decides today to rise.